Well, if you thought Duel 1 was a straight-up classic, wait till we see what happens in Duel number 2. 60 laps under the lights at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, in advance of the Universal 500 for the UIS Precision Speed Solutions Cup Series. Welcome back on Precision Entertainment. Marty Scala with you, Jagger Finley, as well as Joe LaCastro and our entire crew. Glad you could join us here. And Jagger, we'll start with you. I mean, what a first race we had, caution-free. Did have a wreck, but an exciting finish down to the end where we had Kai Collymore win by 0.07 of a second.
Oh yeah, definitely a very interesting race in Duel 1. We'll see what it's going to prevail like here. You know, definitely night race, definitely different conditions. Tires will wear differently. So like what we saw with Kai Collymore, how he ended up going to the front in the beginning. He had a very good run because of the top lane filing in. So it's just going to see how it's going to happen with the day. The temperature changes the track and everything. It'll definitely also be interesting to see how these drivers manage their fuel, seeing what happened in Heat 1.
Joe, we'll bring you in here. What do you think could be different going into tonight?
Well, different from here, is part of me is questioning if any of these guys watched Heat 1, watched the first duel, I should say. If they watched the first duel and if they thought to themselves, well, there was a lot of aggression in that race, let's cool it down a little bit. So I'm kind of thinking that, like we've already said, the conditions of this race, both physically and mentally, are going to be a little bit cooler than the first race.
We'll bring you here to live pictures to give you the starting lineup for Duel number 2. Wyatt Thompson qualified second in advance of the Universal 500. His spot is locked into the show. Everyone else, it's up for grabs. The outside of Thompson, our Clash winner, Tyler Helms, in the 7. Row number 2, Travis Prather in the 58. And to the outside, it's Maxwell Funderburk in the 97. The third row this evening, Jacob Quill in the 45, next to Nicholas Martinez in the 48. Row number 4, it's Jacob Bryant in the 95, and to the outside, it's Alex Ortega in the 32. Rounded out the top 10 this evening, we've got Jose Lopez in the 19 and Colby Duckworth in the 33. Jagger?
After him, we have Joseph Enright in the 07, Riley Maxwell in the 88. After Riley Maxwell, we have Joshua M. Carey in the 35, followed by Jason Hall in the 4.
Moving right along, Luke Grennan in the 10 in the 15th spot with Damian Cisneros in 16th. Michael Deitch in 17th with Xander McKinney in 18th. And rounding out the field, 19 cars deep, it's Henry Koloff in the 56, excuse me.
Field makes their way down through 1 and 2 on board with, man, that will start second next week in the Universal 500, Wyatt Thompson. If you missed us for Duel number 1, here's how we'll go. 60 laps around the World Center of Racing. Field window around 29 to 31 laps, so it should be a one-stop race for everyone, maybe 2 if you want to top off on fuel if we do get a caution flag. 3 sets of tires, no fast repairs for the drivers here. Look at the weather conditions here, how things have changed here at Daytona. 72 degrees and track temp at 73, which means here, Joe, that there's gonna be a lot more grip to this 2.5 mile facility, and the speeds are gonna go well over 200 miles an hour tonight.
That's right, and that's what we saw a little bit during the first race, was those speeds really got up there, but with the conditions being even more grippy, the chances for even more hardcore drafting and more bump drafting, which we saw a lot of in the first race, go up exponentially as well.
So Kai Collymore won duel number 1 by 0.07 of a second. Will we see that be the case once again tonight? Will we see any wrecks possibly in duel number 2 as well? We had one on pit road, but kept us under green. We'll just have to see. 19 drivers set to take the green flag. iRacing pace car on pit road. Thompson and Helms bring us to green for duel number 2 at Daytona. A couple of drivers were sent to the back, by the way. Travis Prather, Jacob Quill, and Alex Ortega. Right now out in front, Tyler Helms with some blocks from Nicholas Martinez. They both work together very well in duel number 1. Looks to be not in duel 1 in the clash, trying to make sure one of them would find their way in victory lane at the end. And eventually, it was Tyler Helms, the man that won the clash, leads the opening lap over Martinez, Thompson, Maxwell, and side by side for 5th, Jason Hall and Damian Cisneros, who, ironically, as well, because I went there tonight for dinner, wants to ride the Dente. Here's a cut down underneath by Wyatt Thompson along with Riley Maxwell. Let's see if they can get the bottom side cooking. No help from Martinez, though, from behind Jagger.
Yeah, a lot of rowdiness here. Kind of spatial differences here. A lot of people in the back trying to play it safe. The front, they're a little bit closer together, trying to push, get that draft, maybe pull away, you know, recognizing the fact that people in the rear aren't too close together, trying to pull away, maybe separate them from them and give them a disadvantage.
This is from Cisneros there. Martinez a little bit squirrely. So he almost lost touch with his teammate. You see the speeds, 202 into turn 1. Cisneros actually gave a little kiss to the safer barrier. Such a close call. But battle for the race lead, though, up front. On the outside, Wyatt Thompson on the bottom. Maxwell with a nice push to Jason Hall. They clear 3rd on back, and Hall commands the troops here early in duel number 2. Looking like here, Joe, at the moment, a lot more patience from some of the drivers here early in this race compared to what we saw in duel 1, although we're seeing a lot of pushing on that outside line by Quill as he's trying to work with Cisneros.
Yeah, Quill was really aggressive early on. I don't want to say aggressive, but he was trying to make opportunities happen early on when he put it 3 wide when this race was just getting started. And now he's sitting back there, one of the main pushers there with Cisneros in 3rd now. Now you can see Quill is still trying to keep it steady enough to give a good push, but these guys are bubbling around a little bit. Ooh, strong hit from Cisneros to the front of Hall, to the back of Hall.
2 risky blocks from Jason Hall at the same time. Cisneros, you know, is not going to like that, and that really cost a lot from Jacob Quill. Look how much track position he lost. In fact, just about 0.7 of a second behind Jason Hall. Look at this. This is something that we've yet to see as well, Jagger. We never saw it in duel 1, the 2-car tandem. Cisneros pushing Hall and Lopez. Look at the gap they have. A 0.5 second separates him and Quill.
Yeah, I think that track temperature is definitely really helping with that 2-car tandem. Earlier in duel 1, it definitely, the heat, it kind of evened the playing field. The tires were very hot. You couldn't find as much grip. Here you can. So now you want to have at least one drafting partner, and you should be good.
Well, it does take 3 to tangle because behind Cisneros is Jose Lopez, the 19. Let's see if the latter 2 will go to work. But now Quill, big toe off the back end of the 19. Quill will get a nice draft. Can he pull up to the outside possibly and go for a better spot here? Most of the field single file here at the moment. No one really taking any risks on the top, except for, as I see in the back of the field, 35 of Josh Carey, the 07 of Enright. All left alone there, but drivers, again, like I mentioned, Jagger, just playing it safe with Big Train here at the moment.
Yeah, as you can see, a few stragglers on the top. Not really trying to cause any chaos right now. I think they've learned from Duel 1. You don't really want to go off the gun too hard in the first couple of laps. You want to try and save that energy for maybe when you're about to pit, get as many positions as you can before going into pit road or close towards the end where you want to get as many positions for the win.
Look at this run from Maxwell Funderburk. All alone, looking to grab the race lead, and it kind of makes you wonder if always trying to save a little bit of fuel at the same time, but Funderburk is Mr. Lonely at the moment. However, Jose Lopez gives him the space. Funderburk makes the move up to third here, Joe.
And Funderburk moving up to third is a matter of getting into position to do some pushing. And we've seen here in the first duel that the side that wins is the side with the most cars all working together to get that push. These two-car tandems, though, you guys... Oh, no!
Hang on there! Travis Prather! One, two, up in the wall again! How nobody else wrecked there, I have no idea. That is heavy left front damage. The 58 of Prather came all the way from the back after taking a penalty up near the front. That'll send Prather to pit road.
Wow. And if you look back, we'll take it back here for a second, show you what happened here. I think he gave him a little bit of a receipt after all this dooring here.
It's tougher to save the next gen cars compared to what was Gen 6. And yeah, there was a little bit of a push from Enright. It's kind of trying to use some assistance there from the Dente to try and save it. Which, give credit to Prather, it definitely did work. But he did pay the ultimate price. And Prather, from the looks of it, will start from the back of the field in Sunday's Universal 500. Meanwhile, Hall loses a trio of spots. Enright to the race lead with help from Cisneros and Funderburk. Hearing a lot of drivers here, Jagger, ask other drivers, are they going maybe 75, 80% throttle? Are they saving? Maybe practicing for next Saturday, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, a lot of drivers here, they're trying to figure out who they can work with, especially, going into next Saturday, trying to figure out who they can stick with, who they can work with, who they can trust, most importantly. A lot of drivers also, that aspect of trust is knowing who will actually stick with you and fuel save with you instead of leaving you alone and in the back of the pack.
Everyone trying to pick their drafting partners early, whether it be teammates, manufacturer alliances, or other drivers that you definitely trust at the moment. These some drivers you may work with for next Saturday, kind of like send your allies or your rivals on Fight to the Top back in the day 20 years ago. Jagger, I want to stay with you here on this. With the top three having this huge gap over Jason Hall on back, and the top three being a situation possibly early. I know we're a long way away from it. Could it be a situation where the top three would be the first drivers to pit compared to the rest of the field?
Yeah, it definitely is likely. As we can see here, Jason Hall is closing in a little bit, kind of getting shoved to the high side by the 88, but he is definitely closing in nonetheless. It is possible that they do pit early. They may end up falling back here with the fact that Jason Hall is closing in. They may try to take advantage of that and get into the draft so they can save and not have to pit early, but they may just want to stick out and take the track position and hope that they can flip it.
Maxwell, new quickest lap of the race of 45.04. Joe, we talked about this as well back in duel number 1. A lot of drivers racing to win the duel. Winner, unless it is Wyatt Thompson, will start 4th in next Saturday's 500. Others, though, trying to make their show and go for every spot possible. Bunch more cars that are open cars in Duel 2 compared to Duel 1.
And you know what? Going for that any spot possible, that's the kind of racing that I expected to see in Duel 1. But here in Duel 2, we're seeing a lot more single file racing, despite having more open cars, despite being in a situation where those cars could take advantage of this, of the grip that they've got. We're seeing a lot of single file racing out of Duel 2 right now. So I'm wondering if that energy for making up places anywhere possible, I wonder if that energy is going to be coming a little later in the game here for some of these guys.
Open cars here this evening. Jose Lopez, Colby Duckworth, Michael Deitch and Xander McKinney. A correction, we have 4 open cars in this race. I believe we were supposed to have 5. James Cesar moved over to Duel 1 after the lineups were made official. So the long next-gen train continues here around Daytona as we're a fifth of the way through here in Duel 1. Enright leading over Cisneros, Funderburg, Hall, and Maxwell. That's the top 5. Here's a look at Michael Deitch, one of those open drivers at the moment. Currently scored in 8th. The 4th biggest mover of the race so far here. Jagger up 9 spots, currently in 8th.
Yeah, up currently in 8th. He's up 9 spots. Not the biggest mover, though. Your 3 biggest movers are going to be Damien, who's in 2nd, up 14 spots. Your current leader, Joseph Enright, up 10 spots. And person in 4th place, Jason Hall, has been talking about pretty hot recently. He's also up 10 places.
A couple of cars in front of him is Riley Maxwell in the 88. And it sounds like I'm hearing on the voice chat, Maxwell reporting that his car is a little bit tight. Joe, can that be normal for Daytona, especially in the draft when the horsepower is increased by about maybe 60 or so?
You know, he's saying that it's a little bit tight, but in races like this, when you're at the 2.5 miles, some of the larger tracks, I've heard the opposite from some drivers, at least in the last week. I was just recently watching a race, and I've heard that loose tends to be the name of the game. But if he's reporting that it's getting tight on him, he's not going to have many opportunities. Well, he's got a few opportunities now, but he's not going to have them unless we get some yellows or he gets a chance to come down pit road and do any kind of adjustment. So if it's going to be tight right now, it's going to be something that he has to work with.
Field completely scattered around the 2.5 mile super speedway from 1st all the way back to 17th. Henry Kalhoff, I should say, is 1.7 seconds. There they all are from the front to the back. One driver you don't see in that, Travis Prother, who was involved in that accident on lap number 6. Should check that lap number 7, but nobody else was involved and there was no spin, so everyone kept on going. As we approach a quarter of the way through here on Duel number 2. We're glad you could join us here on Precision Entertainment. Marty Sakala, Jagger Finley, Joe LaCastro, our entire broadcast team here with you this evening. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And for those that are maybe looking to perhaps join this Universal iRacing series down the road, we actually have a link on to the Discord in our description. Click on that link to learn more details about UIS. High side starting to cook here. Big 2-car tandem coming here, Jagger. That's Carey and Ortega. And look at this. That is a whopper of the push. Without question, 1-2 at the end of this lap.
Oh yeah, that's a crazy move. They are already 3/10 up from the person behind them, Henry Kalhoff. They are flying. I'm pretty sure it's most likely due to the track temperature and also because I think everyone else around them is fuel saving and they just took advantage of it and they are just hooked up. They are nose and bumper literally glued together.
Yeah, they're saying to heck with the fuel saving. We want to go 100%, but here's one risk that you're taking here, Joe. If you're Alex Ortega, that oil and water temp is cooking. Like 2 or 3 laps an hour, if he keeps doing that, he's going to blow that engine.
Yeah, that was a point that we were just making during the first race here, that if you really tuck in, and there he goes, Alexander Ortega backs off just a little bit. If he had stuck with that strategy and they had done that for another lap or 2, he would have seen some red. And that red would have been a sign that he is overheating that car. You've got to let air get into the mouth of the car. Otherwise, it's going to explode. And when it does, well, that's going to cause problems with the cars behind him. But in this case, it looks like he knows that's the case. And we're seeing Ortega now go down to the inside just a little bit to get some air in. He's letting the throttle off just a little bit to get some air in. He knows what he's doing.
Ortega, defending series champion. Great year for him last season. And they've got 1.8 seconds on third on back. Henry Kalhoff was one of those drivers that was trying to work with the top two, like lost so much time. And I think he may be perhaps fuel saving here at the same time. Leaders are working on some lap traffic, that being Jacob Bryant. As we look back here at this Peloton field here, Jagger. Now, third on back is just right around, and we mentioned when it comes to pit stops in about 10 laps from now, pitting late may be the strategy call here.
Yeah, as we saw in Duel 1, honestly, you know, he pitted on lap 29. He was one of the first people to pit, actually. He ended up saving the field. He went to the back pretty early after the pits rolled around, but he did end up saving enough fuel and made it towards the end. So I think here it's just going to be a matter of if you can get your timing right. But it seems to be everyone besides the Joshua and Alexander who just rocketed to the front. They seem to be fuel saving now. It looks like Joshua and Alexander, they are fuel saving a little bit now, as the gap it went from about a second now down to 0.2. So they have kind of, you know, brought it back together and realized, hey, we need to fuel save a little bit.
Look at the back of the field here, Quill in the 45, and Quill doesn't sound too pleased on the radio. He wants to get going, but nobody wants to take any risks and move up to the outside or go 100%. Everyone just playing it nice and safe at the moment, nice and easy, I should say.
I think playing it nice and easy, nice and safe, you know, we're not even halfway through this race. We're not even halfway there yet. So there is still time to play that card and to play it nice and easy, nice and safe, and to make sure that you not only make it to the end, but you make it there with a little something in your back pocket.
Field off at turn number 4. I haven't seen a train this far back altogether on an iRace in a very, very long time. Biggest movers of this race, Kerry. He's the man up top of 12 spots after starting all the way back in 13th, followed by Ortega in 2nd, Funderburk in 3rd, Hall in 4th, Jose Lopez, our highest open car at the moment, in 5th. Daytona International Speedway here. Just hosted the 500 a couple months ago. A phenomenal race that Tyler Reddick took the win in. Of course, they'll be back there late August for the regular season finale. Of course, obviously playing host earlier this season to the Rolex 24. Supercross as well every season, and Bike Week. And so many more cool events as well around the World Center of Racing. Always a race fan's bucket list. Always on a race fan's bucket list to get to this place.
I'd love to get myself down there someday and see a race at Daytona. That'd be fantastic. My first race ever is going to be coming up at Chicagoland, actually, here in July.
Taking a ride on board here with Cisneros. Now, I think here, Jagger, as well, some drivers are testing out the layback situation. We didn't see that in the final laps like we expected, but for some drivers, it's working out pretty well. Other drivers, they gotta just try and adjust to it.
Yeah, some drivers here, they're just used to, they have, you know, about maybe a half car, 1 car length between the car in front of them, just chilling, lifting in the corners, fuel saving as much as possible to make sure they can maybe go even to lap 32 before they have to pit. Who knows? But we do know that some of them, such as the 45 of Jacob Quill, he's kind of really not used to this maybe, or he just wants to try and get as many spots as he can before he realizes, hey, we got to pit for fuel. I want to be up in the front.
Should mention as well, taking advantage of this situation here at the moment, the first car a lap down, Jacob Bryant in the 95 in the Apple machine. Right now would be a free pass car if something were to break out, and obviously One of 2 cars a lap down. Should mention, by the way, Luke Grannon is taking his car behind the wall and out of the race. But Grannon is in the 500 no matter what. So Grannon will start from the back next week. So Jacob Quill is been saying he wants to race, and nobody wants to join him in the fun. Look at that.
Stuck out there, a man alone.
Well, I mean, it shows you that he's going 100% compared to everyone else. It shows you why. Well, we're expecting the same strategy where everyone's going to be going 75, 80% next week based off the stage links that we'll have for the 500. But this shows you why NASCAR has been working on at tracks like Daytona, like Talladega, so no one fuel saves. So Quill makes his way up to 3rd, leaving the open car in Deitch all by himself. Now he's actually got some help from behind in Thunderberg and Lopez, also an open race car. And this battle is on for the lead. 2 open cars up top and a new race leader. Deitch in the 76. The top 3 able to cut down low. Kind of gives Kerry as well a little bit of a helping hand too at the same time, Jagger, with pit stops expected to begin about 3 to 5 laps or so.
Yeah, with pit stops coming up in about 3 to 5 laps, we saw what happened in the Duel ones. There was a lot of chaos on lap. I think it was 30 when majority of people pitted. There was some chaos. A lot of people trying not to speed into pits, locking the brakes, chaos. We'll see what happens here if people are going to fan out when they go into the pit stop just to see, you know, hey, we shouldn't be as close. We'll see, you know, if they learn their lesson from what happened in Duel 1. We'll also see what people do regarding it because, like I said, you may be possible to make it 32 laps. You may want to pit early and try and flip it. Who knows?
Make sure you're pitting with your friends as well. If you're pit alone, you are in trouble of losing this racer, getting a starting spot for the 500 next week, or heck, maybe even missing the 500 because of a tough strategy. So we'll just have to see. But a lot of drivers really coasting. Kerry's lost a lot of ground to the 3rd place car in Lopez, and same with Jason Hall. And it sounds like we may have some drivers pitting list this time. Do we have any takers, or is it next lap? It sounds like it's coming next lap. It's a game now, Joe, of playing possum. You want to be the last to pit again from the looks of things here.
Yeah, it's just a matter of just playing dead a little bit, hanging out, waiting and seeing when the opportune moment is to actually go down and get yourself set up for the run to the end. And that's what you need here. That's where that playing possum is going to actually pay off, is will you set your car up to run to the end?
Hang on, we got trouble. Xander McKinney has lost it in the infield, almost clipped the inside retaining wall, goes over the curbs at the Le Mans chicane, and somehow makes a wild save out of all of that. McKinney, probably with a Code Browner moment, will need a change of shorts at the end of the night. Let's see what happened. And I don't even know if there was contact here, Jagger. What happened?
Yeah, we're about to see. It's definitely going to be a little heartbreak there. I've been some people saying, you know, a McKinney win would be amazing here. So we're about to see what happened here. It looks like he just lost it there. I got no clue.
And that is an open car trying to race his way into the show. Absolutely in big trouble now. Completely has lost the draft. Wouldn't surprise me if he pits this lap or not the next lap. Do we have any takers off for turn number 4? It's the lap car, Jacob Bryant. And he is Mr. Lonely, pitting on lap number 30. Drivers pitting later than anticipated. Now remember, Jagger, first round of stops happened on lap 29, but we didn't see a lot of fuel saving compared to what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of drivers, you know, especially the ones who watched Duel 1, they recognized, let's maybe try and, you know, push our fuel saving in the first little half to as long as we can, so we can have a little extra, you know, saved up for some overtime, or just, you know, saved up for in case we get a caution in between the start or the finish and once we've pitted.
Here we go. Boatload of cars come in.
Whoa.
3 wide. Got to get to 60 miles an hour. And boy, if Lopez didn't speed on pit road, he may have just played that out to perfection with that shallow entry.
And you can see in the back, Damon, he kind of missed going into pit road. He almost went to the infield grass a little bit there. He has it back on pit road. That is going to be a penalty for unsafe pit entrance, though.
But Lopez is one driver that missed his box, so we'll have to back up. That's a rough break for him. So now just waiting on 5 drivers to pit. Riley Maxwell, Tyler Helms, Nicholas Martinez, Wyatt Thompson, and Colby Duckworth. And again, I mentioned pitting late could be the strategy call. There is a black flag, by the way, that has been issued to Michael Deitch, the open car. Here come the 5. Look out! Martinez sideways right in front of the Maxwell car. That was Wyatt Thompson in particular, and Martinez would have missed pit entry because of that. So Martinez forced to stay on track. What a rough break for Martinez. Riley Maxwell just got called for speeding on pit road, but Martinez got hooked from behind, cooked up the brakes, and could not make the pit entry. Would have gone past the commitment cone. And so Martinez really in a big doo-doo situation.
Yeah, this doesn't get much worse for Martinez in this case. That the avoidance of the big one, you know, the damage, good, but resetting your whole position on the track, especially right now with everybody just doing green flag pit stops, this is not going to be easy.
So here comes Martinez pitting all by himself. Had a couple of other black flags issued. Jose Lopez also gained a penalty. Seeing if anyone else is, but Jagger, this is not looking good for the open cars here at the moment.
Oh yeah, most of the open cars, if not all, correct me if I'm wrong there, but all the open cars, nothing has gone well for them tonight. Every open car has had some sort of issue. You know, whether it is pit entrance, getting loose off of the corner and having to go through the infield on the backstretch. Something has gone wrong with every single car tonight here. That is an open car. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens closer to the end, how hungry they're going to be for this win to get locked into the 500 next week.
We'll see here off of turn 2 as things completely cycle through. Jacob Quill now the race leader. He wants to race up near the front. Well, guess what? He's got it. Joshua Carey now in second, followed by Ortega, Enright, and Jason Hall. That's the top 5 as they stand. Riley Maxwell, we're hearing another black flag. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, is there anybody out here who's got a black flag? And it looks like Riley Maxwell has got one coming down now.
You know, I tell you what, I mentioned that we were talking about the open cars here, Jagger. I think the biggest benefit out of all of this may have been the one that had the close call with the infield, Xander McKinney in 12th, because I believe the rest of the open cars, well, actually, Colby Duckworth, I should say, the highest open car in 9th, correction. But McKinney in second right now amongst the open cars. Lopez and Deitch both suffering penalties. Not good for them at the moment.
Yeah, based off of that, you know, it makes his situation look a lot better. Had they not gotten penalties, his situation probably would have been the worst. But due to those penalties they acquired, he's looking pretty good. He's not doing too bad. He's in 12th right now. Very close to a top 10. And there's still plenty of laps to go in this race for him to make that up. Maybe even get a win.
Just have to see what McKinney can do. Behind him, Riley Maxwell not racing for position. So 25 laps to go here in duel number 2, and we've got 7 cars leading this pack at the moment. Less than what we had at the end in duel 1. Everybody else all scattered around this racetrack.
Yeah, and speaking of Riley Maxwell, he actually was just black flagged. Don't know what it's for exactly, but I just got word that he has been black flagged.
I believe it was for a pit road violation, if not something to do with pit entry or pit exit, but it's something related to that pit stop, I would have to assume. We've got 24 laps to go here at the moment. Joe, we'll get back to you here. How are you setting this up if you're a top 7 car? You know you've got a chance to win. Obviously, you're hoping that you don't want any other cars to be in it at the end. If you know, you know. How are you setting this up?
On the top 7 car right now, I'm looking at Quill, and I'm remembering how he wants to lead. He wants to lead these lines. He wants to be out front. He's talked about, I want to race. I want to be out there. So I'm thinking if I can get in behind Quill, that's the spot I want to be in. I'm setting myself up to take that spot, to take Joshua Carey's spot, to take that spot, and to really maybe not aggressively push Quill, but to sit there and let him know that I'm going to be there the entire time that we make our way around toward that white flag. And when that white flag comes, that's when I will start. Honestly, that's the moment when I'm going to make my move.
How are you feeling right now in this position as you ride on board with Jacob Quill? How do you feel in his position right now, Jagger?
Yeah, in his position, I would honestly just try and keep where I'm at right now. It's still a little too early to make a definitive move just because of how, there's so much that can happen. The line can form up top and you could go with it. There's just so much that could happen. You don't really want to make a definitive ultimatum move here. You just want to, keep where you are, keep her clean, keep it safe, make sure you have a good car for that finish and try and get the win.
Everyone just hugging the double yellow line. This is the typical parts of what you see at Daytona. No one gonna take the first move until late in this race. First lap cars they won't catch up to for a little while, that being Deitch and Lopez, the 2 open cars that are fighting for their life to try and make their way into the Universal 500 next Saturday. Should mention, by the way, while we are at it, that race next Saturday night. We'll have practice, I believe. We'll have to double check here, but 8:30 p.m. we have for our live call. Don't miss on that right here on Precision Entertainment, the Universal 500. 200 laps around Daytona International Speedway. That is not to be missed.
It's going to be a fantastic show.
So again, Jacob Quill, the race leader, followed by Joshua Carey in second, Alex Ortega in third, Joseph Enright fourth, Jason Hall fifth, Tyler Helms in sixth, Maxwell Funderburk in seventh. And then you go all the way back to the 8th position. Wyatt Thompson and Colby Duckworth, the 2 working together. Nicholas Martinez with help from Henry Kalhoff and Henry Kalhoff instead, and Jacob Bryant. That is 10th, 11th, and 15th, respectively. We've got Xander McKinney in 12th. Jose Lopez. Let's keep an eye on this here. Let's go back to the open cars. McKinney's got company from Lopez and Deitch, and both of them just made the pass on the 66. That is big. That could be critical towards a spot in the Universal 500 next week.
And these cars out here at the front, these 7 are still just, they're just a train. Honestly, there's been very little ambition in these 7 cars here. We haven't seen anybody try to make a play or really a lot of hard pushing. We're seeing a little bit of a bump here and there, a little bit of a, contact to just keep things rolling. But this group of 7 here, they just want to see the end of this race, and they want to be there in good time. And I think that they've got the memo on that.
Well, behind them, Wyatt Thompson just lost a pair of spots to Nicholas Martinez and Henry Kalhoff. 43 laps will go up on the board next time by. Those in the top 3 all nose to tail here at the moment, not leaving really a single room for error. Bumper to bumper to bumper racing. Do you feel, Jagger, more comfortable if you're fourth place and right with the gap you've got behind the top three, or not really?
Honestly, I kind of would. I would like to, be a little separated from there because that is where a lot of chaos can happen. A lot of drivers getting anxious, wanting to get that win, getting hungry for it, maybe going a little too over the top, and if you're especially in fourth, you'll have, a little bit of time to react to it.
Everyone hanging out on the double yellow line. First move, Ortega. Very early than expected. Going around Quill for the race lead, and Quill was not too pleased on the radio last lap with all the chatter that was going on in the public. And you've got a new race leader. Quill drops down to 6th. Josh Carey stayed with him. He's down to 7th. Ortega now out in front.
That's right. He was the one Quill called basically for a new race leader, and Ortega couldn't do anything but oblige at that point. Pulled with 4 cars with him up ahead of everybody, and now with him, that 5 rotates up to the front. Ortega looking good up there. Now it's going to be up to him during this last about 15 laps here to bring things home. Let's see if he's got the momentum now to hold on to this top spot.
15 laps to go at Daytona, and Ortega back out to the point with help from Enright. Jason Hall is 3rd, Helms is 4th, and Funderburk round out the top 5. Want to go back to the open race here, the race for 12th, Deitch, McKinney, and Lopez. McKinney did find his way past Lopez moments ago, where he's seen Ryan Thompson's got damage to the 2. Thompson has had a heavy impact in turn 4. I'm not too sure what happened. The hood came up on him, and we will know right here. Duckworth behind him. Oh no. We come in, the hood has already popped up. I think there was contact, Jagger, from behind by Duckworth, and here it is.
Yeah, it appears he just went up a little bit, got a little bit loose at the top, tried to come down, and just got unluckiness of it.
Wow, what a tough break. Here's the onboard with Wyatt. Tried to save it, and all you can see is just Maxwell.
Very effective advertising. Upside down and backwards, unfortunately.
Airing on the radio of Quill that he actually doesn't know if he's going to make it on fuel. Now, he pitted on lap 31, but Jagger, he should be okay to make it going 29 laps.
Yeah, he should, because what we saw, like we saw in Duel 1, that's what we're using most of our examples for. Drivers made it 31 laps, and they made it perfectly fine. So if he can do it, if they can do it, he can too.
Tyler Helms as well. Haven't talked about him too much in this second half of the race here, Joe, our Clash winner. Trying to get this toe off of Jason Hall. He's been in situations like this late in the race where he had a chance of the win. He's looking to try and win it again tonight.
Now let's see if he can win it over. This is watching these last 10 laps here, guys. I'm getting on the edge of my seat because I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. You know, we saw the big move from Ortega. We know Quill is low on gas, but I'm waiting for the third punchline to hit, if that makes sense. There's always 3 of these things, and it feels like something else is just waiting to happen here.
Helms laying back just a bit, leaving some space between him and the 4. Does have some help, though, in Maxwell Funderburk. Would have been great to have his teammate behind him in Martinez. However, though, Martinez had that small incident where he couldn't get on the pit road with contact from behind. So that's left Martinez stranded in the 8th position. With 10 laps to go. Next time they come across the line, As long as something else doesn't fly, one of these 7 drivers will have a chance to win tonight. It's 3-2-2. When it comes to the draft lines here at the moment, when it comes to gaps, I should say. 10 to go here in the duels tonight. I'm seeing a lot of moving around here, Joe. I wonder if drivers are starting to get really anxious here.
That's a good point. There is a little bit of moving around, a little bit of checking on the outside, like seeing if this is the time to make the move. A little bit of a pushing here and there, but not as much. I think that there is going to be some movement soon. I mean, we're within the last 10 laps of this race. There's got to be something, but it's gonna snap soon. Let's just see exactly how it plays out, Marty.
This is from the bumper of Enright with a wide field of view. Just get a great idea for what the arrow push is like. Bang! Big bump draft. 2 big bump drafts. Now tandem drafting. Get a load of rear end there into turn 1. Still keeping an eye on that battle for 12th as well. It's happening in front of Ortega. They could lap in a little bit. Deitch, McKinney, Lopez, the 3 open cars battling for a spot, maybe 2, in next week's Universal 500. We won't tell you who makes it in, but for the full starting lineup and who's in and who's out, head to the UIS Discord in the YouTube description. But they could be battling for at the same time here, Jagger, with 9 to go. Possibly a free pass spot.
Oh yeah, they're definitely going to be trying to get up there in case of a caution. If a caution were to come out, they want to be the one who gets it. You don't want to be, hoping that a caution doesn't come out and miss out on the opportunity to get yourself in as many spots as you can.
Now does Ortega get a comfortable position perhaps here, Joe? About to get the draft of the lap cars.
Ooh. With the draft of the lap cars coming up, Ortega has a chance to get some good headline speed, but also this could be the mix-up that he doesn't really need. Well, let's see. We'll see what the lap cars do. Right now, they're staying out of the way respectfully, and this is good for him because no one's going to go to that top line while they're there. So Ortega just could be comfortable holding on to his position, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and continue past those lap cars, setting himself up for Enright and for Hall to potentially make some kind of move here.
Hall was thinking about it for just a moment. I'm glad to see the lap cars on the outside. Let the leaders go. Race this amongst themselves, but they could get double wide in a little bit, just like we saw in the final laps of Duel 1. 6 to go across the start-finish line. No one amongst the lead lap cars popping out of line just yet. And taking advantage, by the way, in all of that, McKinney now in 11th. And it would be the first car 1 lap down as of now. That's big for the 66, trying to make the 500 as an open car after just about wrecking the darn thing off of turn 2.
Lap 55 right now, looking for 56. Ortega has been unchallenged for about the last, since he's pushed for the lead past Quill, Ortega has gone virtually unchallenged for this situation here out in front. Enright has been giving these sort of gentle pushes, this sort of reminders. Here we go on the outside though. Quill
wants to cook. Quill wants to cook with help from Carey. Battle for the lead is on. The patient Panther off here at Daytona. Helms goes upstairs. Same with the 97 of Thunderberg. The race for the lead is on. Quill, he's got the 32 clear, but he wants to go with Carey. This is going to be good into turn number 3. Jacob Quill to the point at Daytona.
He
said play by 2311 teammates. 4 laps to go. 3 wide working out lap traffic. This is going to get ugly perhaps. 4 wide across the line. The 97 and the 32. Thunderberg, Ortega, being and banging across the start-finish line. Jagger, how did nobody wreck it, and Helms took the lead out of it?
That was crazy. I don't even know how they held on to it. I guess it's just so much nerves here that they are just dialed in, almost tunnel vision like. They are just focused so hard on just keeping their car safe and getting the win. Crazy block there from Tyler. Holy.
This is getting so nerve-wracking. The intensity has been turned up to the max here at Daytona. Jacob Quill in perhaps the most comfortable position of everyone, but he still has company for the race lead. Tyler Helms, second groove, back out front at Daytona with 3 laps to go, Joe.
Helms had a huge block there, and right now he's trying to keep Jason Hall out of there. Jason Hall also throwing big blocks, trying to stay on the back bumper of Tyler Helms, and the two of them together are pushing their way out to the front. Ortega got his lead spot back from Jason Quill. It's all happening so fast out here, guys.
To mention into lap traffic as well, Duckworth, an open car, got eaten up. So I believe Lopez and McKinney would be in comfortable positions. We'll just have to see, but this is far from over here. As Jagger will come into 3 laps to go at Daytona, the top 4 are single file. Helms in control with Hall and Ortega behind him.
Oh yeah, here we go. 3 to go. Sorry, 2 to go now. Apologies. Single file majority, except for the 19 in the rear. Lopez, he's kind of, on the tie side, just kind of getting fallen back there. He got pushed up high, I believe, or either that or everyone left him. I don't fully remember. But Tyler Helms leading it. It's going to be crazy to see what happens close to the end. What these drivers are going to do in order to try and get this win. How they're going to handle it. And like we saw earlier, them going 4 wide, not even on the white flag lap. What they're going to do here and how crazy it's going to be.
Off of turn number 4, white flag in the air this time. Jacob Quill trying to make a run in 4th, but has no steam. Thunderberg inside, white flag is out. We are headed to the checkers, caution free, whether they wreck or not. Ortega trying to get around the outside. He has got no help. Helms, Hall, and Thunderberg cooking. Hang on, Ortega. What a save he just made in the 32. He falls all the way down the back of the pack. And a lot of traffic down the super stretch once again. Helms and Hall, big push. Thunderberg laying back. Gonna have a big head of steam. Slingshot outside. Helms throws the block. Hall throws the block. And Hall pays the price. Thunderberg downstairs moves up to a runner-up spot. Can he pass one more car? Or will Tyler Helms have a chance of the Triple Crown last week? Off the corner to the home stretch. Helms trying to block 1 lane, 2 lanes. Coming to the line. Give it to Tyler Helms as they wreck behind. Thunderberg in second. Jason Hall third. Enright fourth. Jacob Quill 5th. Wow.
Jeez.
What a race at the end. Tyler Helms wins it. Will start 4th unofficially in the Universal 500. And we'll have a big chance next week, perhaps, to get the Triple Crown. I think without question, Jagger, this has to be the favorite to win.
Oh yeah, Tyler Helms, he definitely is going to have a lot of momentum, strength, and definitely support going into the 500 next weekend. Definitely going to, have some pretty high standards to put up, considering the fact that he won the Clash, he won Duel 2. What will he do next weekend? And where will he finish? Will he be more aggressive like he kind of was tonight, or will he be more laid back?
Thunderberg coming by to give Helms a little congratulatory push. And as Helms, yeah, absolutely. Helms lights up some smoke. Couple of donuts through the grass. Thunderberg coming in to celebrate as well. And with that, we'll step aside and head to a commercial break. Talk with Helms and some of the rest of the finishers here in just a moment. Post-race coverage of the Duels of Daytona for UIS in just a moment here on Precision Entertainment. Well, that was a race. What a night here at Daytona as we wrap up the duels. Both of them go caution-free. And in duel number 2, Tyler Helms taking the win tonight by 500ths over Maxwell Funderburk. Rest of the field here, Jason Hall finishing 3rd, Joseph Enright 4th, Jacob Quill in 5th, Alex Ortega 6th, Josh Carey in 7th, Nicholas Martinez in 8th, Henry Kalhoff is 9th, and Michael Deitch rounds out the top 10.
Moving right along in the field, Xander Kinney is in 11th place with Jose Aguilar Lopez in 12th. Jacob Bryant in 13th with Colby Duckworth in 14th.
Riley Maxwell in 15th, followed by Wyatt Thompson in 16th. Damian, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm going to give it a shot. Cisneros in 17th. Luke Grant in 18th, rounding it off. Travis Prancer in 19th.
And I think we are set to go to talk with your top 3 following that wild finish in the end. And we'll start things off with Tyler Helms. Tyler, you were in the best spot possible, coming off a turn 4 leading and just mere driving in the end. How'd you do it?
Man, a lot of help from Maxwell Funderburk as well. We got linked up on a radio when there was the front 7 with about 20-ish to go. I think it was probably like lap 40. And we're like, we're going through the guys like, okay, they don't have any friends. They don't have any friends. We thought Carey and Ortega would work together a little bit, but we're like, oh, there's nobody that's really working. It's like there's no teammates up here, so let's just get together and eventually we'll go high. And the plan was at the end of 55 to go high, and as soon as we were then we're like, oh no, we're gonna wait a little bit. And as soon as we said that, Jacob and whoever was with him went to the outside line, and we're like, oh well, we're screwed, and we're just gonna get stuck here. We're not gonna be able to do anything. They were able to clear easily, and then we got shuffled to the front, and then he got shuffled all the way to the back. I don't really know what happened off of 2 on the white, but they all wrecked, and then I was on a radio with him, and I knew he was going to be perfectly okay with finishing second, and I was going to say, hey, do you want to go around him on the outside? And we'll go outside of Jason. You just push me. And as he did that, he went to the bottom and just had to throw a couple lazy blocks there at the end, and that was it. But well, we played our strategy card right, and it might have been the worst green flag pit stop sequence I've ever seen in my entire life from our group, but we got it to work and we got the job done.
How tough was it? I know you and Martinez really wanted to work together for this win like it was in the Clash. How tough was it not having him during the second half of the race after he had his mishap?
I mean, it was tough from the start in general, not having Trenton or Finn being in Duel 1 and Trenton not being here at all. It was very, very tough where you split the team with the best super speedway, the best super speedway team when you split in half. And we had the strategy played out pretty good where we saved a good amount of fuel, which sucks that we had 75% fuel because the racing product I think would have been really good and really fun and entertaining, but we were forced to have to save to even make it on one stop. And we were when we were good, we're like, okay, we planned to come down before the other group, but then they all came down, so we hammered down and we pushed hard, and it was just a miscommunication between Martinez and Wyatt on entry of pit road, and led to Wyatt just running through the back of Martinez, which is, one of them should have been lower than the other one. And that sucked. And of course they wrecked each other where Martinez was forced to have to stay out. Riley Maxwell speeds, Colby sped or something, and I was literally the only one by exiting pit road, and I was like, well, I'm screwed, and was super lucky, super fortunate to get latched onto this pack and be able to get a little bit of help. But it's also another thing and another perk of being a veteran who's won races before, who's won a championship before, that it's not like these other guys. Like, I've never really raced around Jason W. Hall, so I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to leave me or screw me over at some point. And when you get linked up with a couple guys that you've been racing with for a few years now, it's pretty easy to get that connection, and that communication was key between me and Maxwell to get to the front and get this dub. And if we're going based off the real life rules, where if you wreck out, you have to quote unquote go to a backup car. Whitey Thompson did qualify on the front row and got meatballed and wrecked out of the race. So I believe we'll be starting on the front row for the 500, which is awesome.
So you've won the Clash, you won Duel 2. Do you feel like you're the favorite to win this race? And if so, why?
I don't know if I'd say the favorite. I'd say we got to be up there. Our teamwork is super, super, super good. Sucks. Finn won't be there. He's going to be out of town, so he won't be able to make it to the 500. Trent won't be able to make it, but we're going to get a sub for him. We're going to have, it's going to be me and Martinez. We're going to have to figure out how to get together. He finished 8th and we finished 1st, so we'll be split up from each other a little bit. So we just got to get with each other and, get to the front. And I think him or Finnegan are the two best super speedway racers in this league. And if we get linked with him, I think we're going to have a good shot at it. We had a pretty good shot at it last season before getting wrecked out. Had the lead literally coming off of turn 4 a couple seasons ago as well. So just gonna have to put ourselves in some situations to win, and that's what we did tonight. That's what we did last week as well.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Oh, there's a long list right here. So let's go down the order. Maxwell Funderburk, obviously, for working with me at the end. Nicholas Martinez Jr. We had the best teamwork on super speedways. Got to shout out Xander McKinney, making a guy who's been here since the very, very, very beginning. First ever UIS race, won the first ever one. Sadly has not won since, and he's making his final real attempt at making a 500, and he was able to get in. Honestly, I think I was more excited in VC whenever he said he made it in versus me winning the race. So got to give a huge shout out to him for working with us and everything he's done for the league over the past 3 to 4 years. Colby Duckworth, another guy that's a reserve driver for us, and my team owner in trucks. Got to thank Finnegan Myers, Chase George, and Trent Wilkin. All of them, and you guys for broadcasting. Max Ford for coming out and race controlling, and obviously Precision Speed Solutions. Best setups on iRacing. PrecisionSetup.gg. Use code THNet checkout. That's pretty much it. We're gonna take this momentum. We got 2 wins on the season already, and go on to the 500, and hopefully it goes good. We were pretty up at the front last season and get wrecked out, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. Super Speedways, I think my average finish last season was like 30th, so we're gonna just try to stay up at the front this time and just try to be there at the end. It's a very, very, very long race, so winning an 80-lap Clash and a 60-lap Duels is nothing compared to having to do 200 laps next Saturday night, and see if we can go do it and go win another race and sweep speed weeks.
Alrighty, we'll let you go, Tyler. Great job, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week, see if you can get the Triple Crown, all right?
Yep, thank you.
All right, there goes Tyler Helms, our race winner this evening. Second place belongs to Maxwell Funderburk, and we'll let Jagger take this one.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, you got second place. Definitely, good position not to, helping your teammate out, Tyler. What was your, thoughts, just debrief from this race?
Started up front. Started second on the outside line. Ran up front, I'd say probably for most of the night. I was pretty happy with where I was running. My only teammate in this race, Jacob Bryant, he had an issue with his internet coming in, so he was stuck one down basically the entire time. I'm just glad I could get hooked up with Tyler there at the end around lap, 45 or something. We started talking to each other and just got it worked out from there. And I'd say P2 is pretty good.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts going into the 500 next weekend? Some takeaways, just especially from this group, anybody you've noticed you work with besides Tyler?
I want to say, most of the Canadian guys, I'm pretty close with all of them. I feel like I don't think Riley made it into the 500, but working with Nick and Jackson and hopefully Connor will be there. I'm just really looking forward to starting up that high. This is my first Universal 500 in a couple of years, so I'm really stoked to be able to start in such a high spot this year.
Yeah. And then just finally, a little takeaway from so at the Clash, y'all also had that, 10% horsepower increase. This week, you also had the 10% horsepower increase, but it was also longer runs, just everything bigger, more closer to that 500. What are your, thoughts on that? What's your expectations going into the 500?
Yeah, I mean, going into the
Yourself,
going into the 500, I think it's too early to tell. I mean, it's a 500-mile race, especially at Daytona. No fast repairs. It could really throw a wrench and everything. Calvin Harvey was actually in the car for me for both qualifying and the Clash. So this is my first time actually in the car this season. So yeah, I'm really hoping that we'll be able to come away with maybe a top 10 or something and help prove that we have some good guys here at Canadian, and hopefully we'll be able to do something at Daytona.
All right. Well, anyone you want to shout out, give thanks to?
Yeah, I mean, I want to shout out Tyler Helms. Obviously, I was working real good with him. I want to apologize to Alexander Ortega. I didn't mean to get into him on the last lap there. That was completely by accident. I want to thank. Let's see. I got a list of people. Jackson Brown, Calvin Harvey. Obviously, he qualified the car in for me. Jacob Bryant didn't really have that great of a run, but definitely there for me. And I know Tyler shouted him out. I want to shout him out too. Xander McKinney. I've known that kid. I've known him for a long time, and I'm glad to see that hopefully he'll be able to cap his career off with a good finish in the Universal 500.
All right, well, thank you. Good job in your P2.
Yeah, thanks.
There goes Maxwell Funderburk, our runner-up finisher, and rounding out the podium here this evening, we've got Jason Hall, and he is with Joe.
Hey, Jason, can you hear us okay up here in the booth?
Yeah, I got y'all.
All right, my man. Hey, congratulations there on your third place finish here in the race. It was a wild finish to this. You were throwing some blocks left and right out there. Now, were you racing with any teammates out there tonight? I'm a little bit new to the series. So who was around you that you were working with?
I was working with the Maxwell guys and the Mach 5 guys. Those guys really helped a lot. And then a lot of mistakes just happened on pit road with them. And I was just one of the only ones to make it out.
Yeah, and you avoided. You want to walk me through a few of those the pit road from your point of view? It was okay. It went okay though. Is that right?
Yeah, it went perfect actually.
Okay, not bad. I'm glad to hear that you avoided all of the troubles that your sounds like your teammates were having there. And at the end of the race, what was your overall strategy at the end of the race? There was so much happening within the last 10 laps of this race. Were you trying to push yourself to the front or someone else to the front? What was going through your head during those last 10 laps?
What I really wanted to do is just get in the second there on the final lap, which we did, but I screwed it up myself by trying to throw a block there and paid the price for that. And just really nothing else that we could do whenever they have the whole entire inside line going, and it's just me and another guy on the top.
Yeah, really unfortunate, but it does sound like you made your way up to. You found yourself at your goal. You hit your goal of second place, and well, it did bounce you back a little bit to third. But hey, podium's a podium, my man. And are you excited for Daytona next week?
I am. We finished runner up there last season, actually. So a lot of momentum after this duel. So see what we can do.
Yes, you will. Anyone you want to shout out to or thank for your great drive today?
I want to shout out Xander McKinney. Really congratulations to him on making the race. Condorian Davis for the ride with Mach 5. And yeah, that's really it.
All righty. All right. Well, thank you for your time, my man, everybody. That was Jason Hall.
All right, there goes Jason Hall, and bear with me for breaking the fourth wall. Is that confirmed that he made the race, or I'm not too sure. We're gonna hold on that, but anyway, congrats to your top three and those that made the show regardless on that. And don't forget, next week, Universal 500, 9 p.m. right here on Precision Entertainment. Final thoughts before we sign off, Jagger?
Yeah, definitely, Duel 2 was a bit more rowdy bunch as we saw. No cautions still, but close towards the end, you saw a lot of wrecking. About 4 wide there, I think, with about 5-6 to go. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, though. You know, all those crashes, spins, everything that happened. No cautions did fly though. You know, definitely gonna be crazy going into the 500 here. I think Tyler Helms definitely is going to be up there for the win. You know, hoping to win it. And obviously McKinney, he wants to win. Everyone wants him to win. You know, very popular driver. So we'll see next week on Precision Entertainment Solutions.
And final thoughts for you, Joe?
I just watched 2 fantastic races out of Daytona, 120 laps of gold, I say. It was a good time, and I really am excited. I was glad to be up here in the booth with you guys. It was a good time going around, and I'm looking forward to being in the spectators booth when it comes next Saturday for the Daytona 200, for the 200 laps around Daytona that you guys are doing.
Yes, the Universal 500. Can't miss out on that next week as we officially begin the UIS Cup Series season. That'll do it for us here. I'm back for everyone here at Universal iRacing Series of the Precision Speed Solutions Cup Series. Our broadcast team here this evening, DJ Lion, Joe LaCastro, Jagger Finley, and the rest of our entire team. Marius Callis saying so long. This broadcast has been a presentation of Precision Entertainment. Congratulations to Tyler Helms, your winner in Duel 2, and congrats to everyone else that made the show for next week's Big Dance. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. So long.
You're the one who kept me in tune. My songbird, I miss you, I pray I'll see you soon. Just don't say goodbye. Please don't say goodbye. Just don't say goodbye. Just don't say goodbye.